WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, reviewing often rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have a new bottle from the Isle of Raasay. We have the first bottle in the Oak Species Maturation series. Raasay, tell us how many bottles will be in the series. At least 4, at least 5, at least 6. You don't even have to name the cask you're going to actually fill up, but do give us a little bit of a idea of how many bottles could be in that maturation series. And we have here a special release. We have 50.7% ABV. Now this is Whiskybase number 259148. Over here in Germany, we're paying €84.90 for this bottle. At least that's the recommended retail price from the importer over here. In the Netherlands, it's 97. I think actually I have the price here. Buy online. Let's see. It's £90 in the UK. So I'm getting a good price with my 84. Wow. All right. So Quercus Humboldtii Virgin Colombian Oak. That's the special part about that. Alexander von Humboldt. He was a German explorer, I guess. You could call him. The university in Berlin is named after him and a couple other places in Germany. They actually have now a lot of good information online here. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Dear Isle of Raasay, every time you do something good, I'm going to complain about you could have done it better. All right? Just take it with a grain of salt. This is my idea. Positive, constructive criticism, I hope. All right? So if you actually go to the website, Raasay Distillery, you go to their oak maturation series, you will get a little bit of more information. And that little bit more information I want to give to you. For example, the release date of this bottle was June 24, so I'm not that bad. The peat level is lightly peated. Now, this is what I want to say. They took peated and unpeated casks and they married them. They vatted them. So we have 8,500 bottles. 2,500 of those bottles remain in the UK. 6,000 are sent around the world. Fabulous information, thank you. Now tell me, how many casks did you use? I'm going to say you used 36 casks. I can be off plus minus 5, all right? Now what I want to know is the amount of casks, and I want to know the percentages of peated to unpeated. I have the opinion that this is going to be basically, I'm going to say 22 unpeated. I'm going to say 14 peated casks. Why? Because I have here, I already used this in my German video, I have here your cask strength release for 2024. We have 61.3% ABV, and this has more peat in it. And so the question is the peat being more reduced here through the casks, through that Colombian oak, or is it because there was actually a higher percentage of peated malt casks involved and less of the unpeated cask malts? That's the question of the day. And I don't know. All right, that's what I would like to know. That's why I'm saying a little bit more information would actually please my nice little geeky heart. Now, Jason, why did I just pour water in this? I'm going to pour a tiny little bit more. As I said, this is 61.3%. This is 50.7%. I'm going to try to make them about the same ABV. All right, so you're doing good information. You can give us more. All right, so the presentation is natural color, non-chilled filtered of both of these. Very good. So they actually use Quercus Humboldtii Virgin Colombian Oak Barriques. Those are 225-liter casks. Where were they made? Were these casks made in Colombia? I don't think so. Did you buy wood from Colombia and let a cooperage in Europe make them? I think so. Was this cooperage in UK? I don't know. So I do know, this is a little tiny secret of the industry, that if I have a Spanish cooperage making oak casks, I can say Spanish oak casks, even though the wood came from Romania or Hungary. And that's weird, isn't it? All right? But they were made in Spain, those casks, and therefore it's Spanish oak casks. Weird, weird, weird. All right, good. Did you know that there's over 500 different species of Quercus, which just means oak in Latin, basically trees? We know Quercus robur, that's and we know Quercus alba. Alba is then the American white oak, and Quercus robur is basically European oak. We know Quercus musliberger. We know, I think that's chinkapin. We know Quercus, which is Mitsunara. We know different other oaks types, over 500 different types of oak. All right. This is also, instead of called Colombian oak, sometimes called Andean oak. So let's just go briefly over here. So Quercus Humboldtii, commonly known as the Andean oak, a Colombian oak, or the roble, I guess, is a species of oak found only in Colombian and Panama. It is named for Alexander from Humboldt. And it is an evergreen tree. I don't know any oaks that are evergreen, but apparently it's an evergreen tree, which grows to heights of about 82 feet, 25 meters, and has a diameter of about 1 meter, a good 3 feet in width. All right. Interesting. And the thing that really interests me is the growth in the mountains with an elevation range from 1,000 to 3,200 meters. That's from 3,100 or 3,300 feet all the way up to 10,500 feet. I always thought the tree line was a little bit lower than 3,000 meters, but hey, I remember 2.8. But yeah, 3,000, that's very high elevation. That might have an effect on the wood here. And the Andean in the mountain range is very, very unique there. So that's just a little bit of information about the wood, which I also like to talk about sometimes. So the barley varietals that were used here, they used the standard at the moment, which is Raasay and Laureate. It is not grown on Raasay. It's grown in Scotland, I think. And they use the two standard types of yeast. They use the LS, which is a champagne yeast, and they use the distiller's yeast, which is called MW. So the water source is from Raasay. The fermentation time, some of these were produced had 3-day fermentation, some had 5-day fermentation. The youngest spirit was distilled basically on the 30th of March 2021, not that long ago. And the oldest spirit was distilled on the 15th of February. So it was basically 6 weeks of distillation here. The vatting happened on the 28th of April 2024, and the bottling was in May and June of 2024. So 8,500 bottles. So there's good information there. I like that they've added it for at least, well, it says here they vatted it on 28th and they bottled it from May to June. So let's say the end of June. So there was a whole month of it to vat. I would like to know how many casks, and I would still like to know what percentage of unpeated and what percentage of peated casks were actually involved here. The price, 90 pounds, 84 euros. In America, it'd be $100, I'm sure, plus. I think that's for a 3-year-old whiskey extravagantly high. That's basically 30 pounds per year. That's way too much. Now, if this bottle had been released for 64 euros, let's say 60 some pounds, I would have went, it's a tad bit expensive, but I understand. A new distiller, you need to pay for the hotel they have there. You need to pay for the distillery. You need to pay for the casks. You need to pay for the people working for you. You need to pay for interest to your investors and the banks that gave you money for this. Raasay is pricing themselves a little bit out of a market, at least over in Germany, that is standard for our whiskeys. The whiskey tuber community in Germany loves to hate Raasay. So we don't like Macallan, we don't like Jura, and slowly but surely Raasay is going into that category as well. For me personally, no, but I know a lot of my other YouTuber colleagues were like, it's too expensive and too young. Okay, no problem. And is it too young with 3 years and a couple of months? Is it too expensive? Yes. I don't care how good this stuff is. That's just way too much for me. Now, I did buy the bottle. I did do a bottle share, and it's all gone. So that's very, very nice. Octomore from Bruichladdich brought out their 14.4 in Colombian oak. And Tomaten brought out their Kubokken which also had a finish in Colombian oak. So this is not unique anymore. I think it's unique that it was fully matured in Colombian oak, Quercus Humboldtii. But if I have a 12-month finish or 2-year finish or a 3-year-old product, who will know the difference? On the nose, definitely not as smoky, not as peaty as I was expecting. I get toasted marshmallow. They talk about creme brulee. Creme brulee is when you take that little flame and you put it to the sugar and you turn it into what is a marshmallow that is toasted around the marshmallows are basically pure sugar and you just toast it as well. Creme brulee. I get toasted marshmallows. My association at the very beginning. All right, here this is the standard 2024 standard cask strength release. A lot more of the peatiness comes through here. This is a Highland peat. This is not an Islay peat. I think I like Raasay unpeated is what I like. I'm not a peat head. Forgive me. Cheers. This is actually much better than I expected. They say fragrant heather smoke. Have you ever had a good Highland Park? It's going actually in that direction. If you would have given this to me blind, I didn't say that in my German video, but I'm saying in my English video, from the taste and the smell, I could have been deceived to think it's a Highland Park. I get the marshmallow, I get a little bit of fruit. It says here the herbal flavors are mint and tobacco. I was in Tennessee recently. There was a farm that was just harvesting their tobacco leaves. As a child, I remember walking through tobacco leaf fields of tobacco before it was harvested. That smell, and especially after you dry them, you start drying them. The old tobacco warehouses. Oh, that's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful smell. More of a vanilla, more of a butterscotch moment. A little bit of that caramel there, and a lot of that creme brulee, a lot of that toasted marshmallow moment. Good, very, very nice. This is a C minus. B minus in my book for taste. This is good. On a bad day, if I had more peat, it would have gone down to a C plus. But it's exactly well balanced. I am not a peat head. Taliska, Highland Park, and some Ben Romachs are exactly where I want to be. And sometimes Raasay as well. And so if you go to Achtermoor, if you go to Atbeg, if you go to La Govulin, La Froik, Stoche from Brooklady, it's just too much for me. But this is very, very nice. Value for money, I'm going to give it a solid D. Why? As I said, 84 euros over here in Germany, 90 pounds directly at the distillery. That's too much for a 3-year-old whiskey. I don't care how good it is. It's not cask strength. It's not single barrel. There's 8,500 bottles of this in the world. All right, there's no reason to put up that price there. People, crazy prices for whiskey at the moment. Crazy. I hope we have more of a normalization in the next couple of years. So some people say the bubble has burst, but then I look at all the whiskey distilleries that are expanding in America at the moment going, it hasn't even started to, it's crazy what's going on in there. All right, here the cask strength, just as a comparison. Way more of the peatiness. This has more flavor, more depth than this. This is not bad, but this is actually very good. That's why I gave it a B minus. All right, my question of the day is write down in the comments your favorite special oak or special tree that a cask can be made out of. So for example, I could say Jack Daniel's Gold 27 maple barrel. I could say Glendalough 13-year-old Mitsunara Japanese oak. I could say Raasay Quercus Humboldtii virgin Colombian oak. What is your favorite non-standard oak? No white oak, no European oak. What do you like? What have you had that's been special? So I just had actually the from friends of mine, they used in the In Ireland, they use mulberry, they use apple wood, they use cherry wood, they use two other things. It's crazy what they use. And that's very interesting what you can do with wood if you do not have the regulations like Scotland and America. It has to be oak. So Germany, the only two places I know, maybe Japan has it as well because they're basically the same as Scotland. You can do things with that aren't oak that are amazing. Ireland does it. The rest of Europe can do it. There's some good barrels out there from interesting oak types that we're going to experience hopefully more and more in the future. Whiskey Jason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of American. What is your favorite whiskey that is not in a normal oak barrel but something special? All right, write it down in the comments. Good taste, I can recommend. Try before you buy. The price is just way too high for that. All right, guys. Raasay, give me the amount of barrels you produced here for this batch and the percentage. You're doing a great job. You can just do a little bit better. All right. Whiskey Jason, thank you very much. See you real soon. Bye-bye.